If you find yourself outdoors and you begin to realize that you might be in a less than advantageous position, or even understand that there are some real risks to your life and your safety, there's three main concepts that are really important to have down pat before anything else. Now, when you're training yourself for outdoor survival, the rules that you build in your brain before you come outdoors are critical. And this concept is one of those that has stood the test of time. It's called the rule of threes. And the rule of threes pops up and helps us understand what we need to be prepared for in an emergency or survival situation. So the rule of threes, quite simply, is that you can go 3 minutes without air. You can go 3 hours in extreme conditions without shelter. You can go 3 days without water, and 3 weeks without food. Now, this concept is critical because it gives you a quick frame of reference on how to plan. And generally, of course, we want to be planning this type of scenario ahead of time, before we even leave the house, before we put ourselves in a situation outdoors where there might be risks in any way, shape, or form. But what if you're in an environment where you didn't plan ahead and you find yourself stranded or in a situation that could turn? Let's work backwards from 3 weeks of food. So rationing 3 weeks of rations in your backpack, highly improbable that you're going to be able to pack all that in your kit and go have fun, do all the things that make you feel good out in the woods. We're not packing a 50, 60 pound pack all the time. So what this means is that you're going to have to, of course, have emergency rations, understand how to pack food effectively, understand how much you might need when you're hiking around, when you're in a survival situation out in the woods, and then also planning ahead for how do I procure food out in the wild, whether that's natural edibles, trapping, hunting, creating survival tools that are going to be able to help you accomplish those things. Ideally, 3 weeks out in the wilderness, that's a long time, and you should be able to self-rescue or be rescued by a different, authority out there. Something like that. So 3 weeks of food is a bit out there. You're kind of in a long-term travel situation there. 3 days of water, that comes a little closer to home though. If you're out hiking and you find yourself in a situation where you don't have access back to the trail, you get lost in the woods, and you could be in a dry environment or an environment where you're not sure how to process the water, you could be in big trouble. So 3 days of water. Make sure you pack at least 3 liters of water in your pack outright if you're hiking all day. That's number one. Along with that goes having the vessels to hold the water, as well as water treatment situations. A lot of people like to use filters. Understanding the basics of what do I do if I don't have access to water filters and I have a simple container. How do I go out there and process water that I might find in a puddle that I should definitely not drink out of it straight up. So these are the types of considerations that 3 days of water brings up for you. Now, 3 hours of survivability in a shelter in inclement weather, it becomes a very, very poignant issue, right? So we're not out here trying to plan on building shelters all the time. And it quite honestly falls on the wayside because we're like, yeah, we're on the trail, we know how to get back. But in a situation where you know how to self-rescue, becoming proficient at maintaining your core body temperature, making sure that you're able to craft fire of some sort, using your environment to your advantage to preserve yourself is quite critical. Now, 3 hours is kind of the baseline limit. That's a pretty severe weather, but things can happen really quickly. If your body becomes soaked, if you're wearing the wrong types of clothes, this becomes even more pronounced to where you're trying to create shelter. So understanding maybe emergency blankets, simple tarps, and basic cordage in your pack. These are all things that are very easy to pack in and should be a part of your everyday backpacking kit or your carry kit if you're out in the woods hunting or whatever it is that you're up to. Knowing how to quickly set up a shelter, knowing how to survey the land, understand where I need to be within 30 minutes so that I can begin to process the environment and make a shelter for myself. Also thinking about creating a fire, maintaining body heat. This becomes extremely important with the 3 hours of survivability in inclement weather. If you're someone who's going to be needing 3 minutes of air, I think you probably should plan ahead, maybe get expert advice on that environment because it's not one I've ever really been in where suffocation has been an issue for me. But at the end of the day, I'm sure it's out there for somebody. Let me know in the comments if you're someone who has struggled and survived with the 3 minutes of air rule. That's quite impressive, to be honest with you. So that's it for the 3 R's. I hope that they're burning into your brain by now. It's really important when you're out in the wild to have these types of triggers in your mind to say, I know what to do. I know that the clock is ticking, and I know exactly where I need to be.